But everybody else out there, does God need them to do its work? Be real. Be real when you answer that to yourself. Oh, we can do God's work. What? In your mind? You helped somebody get off the ground. You gave somebody a sandwich today. They're starving. So now you're God? Or you're doing God's work? Okay, here's a quick scenario. You live down Seaside, which I love, I miss. All right? And you're on a beach. And a wave's growing to a humongous height. And you're telling everybody, get off the beach, get off the beach. All right? And some of them are staying there. Do you force them off the beach? Are you going to play God? Say, hey, you've got to get off the beach because I said so. Do you think God is watching what's happening as that wave is going to tear through this town? We have this scenario. We only look at one side of it. We never look at what God thinks, feels, or knows, or understands about a situation. Maybe if you just tried to understand God, you get a little more insight. Trying to understand yourself is ridiculous because that's such a limited place to go. Until you get out of your body, get out of this programmed little machine that you're walking around in, driving around in. Jesus was one of the only true teachers of God's truth. How do I know? From past life being there. That's all I'll say. If you knew Jesus, you would know that. If you knew Jesus, you wouldn't have to listen to what other people say or tell you or want you to believe. You wouldn't have to read. Everybody says, well, did you read this? Did you? Why? Some idiot writing a story about what they read over and over to other people's words and what they said and put it together and made up their own little decision about it? Books are only as smart as the people writing them. People writing them are only as spiritual as the people that write in them as well. So what spiritual person wrote a book and was spiritual? I came to the awareness of doing all these, I was going all the spiritual people that existed in history. Can't even think of his name, sorry. Blank. Well, basically one person was talking about the astral plane and the higher level of the astral plane, which nobody does, or can. Jesus did, but other people, no. Out of all the people out there in the spiritual world, they only use one word, heaven. In the New Age world, they use six-dimensional, which has nothing to do with anything. Will we ever get close to the truth? Not if we don't want to. Do people want to follow aliens now? I'm sure they do. We have to go beyond that. I'm sorry, my computer's... Well, once we go beyond the illusion of thinking of what's right and wrong, or what we know is right or what is true, go deeper than that. Go into knowing. Knowing meaning I know that's right. I know that's wrong. But in this prejudice state, we're programmed and locked into judgment of what other people do. Well, they did all these things and that's not right. But it's time to go deeper than that. And how do we do that? Well, first you get your act together, understand what's happening, and then realize, which something else people don't like, we're in a universe, galaxies, And now the people are starting to accept an idea that there's other beings involved. Think about we're living in the lowest realm world of God. And I'm just going to quote things that I heard Jesus say. And some of them are in the Bible, some are not, but he said in his Father's mansion. In his Father's mansion, not in my mansion, all right? He said there are many rooms. Well, to a lame person who doesn't know anything about anything, they think about their house, the kitchen, bedroom, but these inner worlds that we go through when we die. We're in the lowest one you can be in. So why not try to get out of it? It's like saying I'm going to live in the basement because I don't want to get into the living room, dining room. I don't want to go upstairs. No, stay in the basement. And that's why I call planet Earth hell. Because you're in the basement. You're in the bottom. You're in the bottom. You can't go lower. The idea of hell is higher anyway. But I'm going to take us from that point, bring us to why the downfall started, how it started. Now, certain things might sound like religion, but it's not. It's truth. Moses was a real person, all right? The Jewish people follow Moses. Well, that's what they say. All his 613 laws. People can't follow 10 laws, 20 laws, 50 laws. How can anybody follow 613 and survive? Because Moses is great for saying, cut your arms off, poke your eyes out, whatever is wrong, get rid of it. Jesus never agreed with that. I don't care what you say, think, or heard, or understand. Even if you read something in the Bible, there's one sentence in there. That's ridiculous. But the truth is, they follow Moses in their wording. I follow Moses. They were their belief in their prayers and what they say they do. But I watched them. I worked in Jewish temples. I worked in a Jewish temple for 9 months. I got my coffee in this one store, and they sold magazines and everything. You would see the Hasidic Jewish people standing there, for an hour, half hour. I mean, the whole time I'm having lunch, whatever, looking at Playboy magazines and whatever, all the hardcore ones, whatever. Lying to their own self about their own religion. I say if you can't follow your religion, don't be in it. That's not complicated. You can't be yourself. You can't be true to yourself. You're not following the right religion. You're not following the right path. And sadly, in the Muslim religion, how many women could be themselves? They can't be. In the Jewish religion, they're under control by the men. It's the same. Respect each other. And nobody does that. Even when Muhammad supposedly stood before Gabriel, and Gabriel said all these things to him, you need to listen to him. I'll do them one day. I don't want everybody trying here to blow me up, whatever. But you can go online and pull up the Quran and when Muhammad stood before Gabriel and read what he said and the things. I think there's about 36 of them. Kind of like Moses getting the Ten Commandments. Well, he got 36 proverbs from Gabriel. Really? I started that the other day. So, what did he say? Be prejudiced against women? And it always uses the word man. Men. God was never a man. Men. So when people perceive that or say that, they're already prejudiced, judging by words of people. If you ever stood close to God, you wouldn't be able to say anything you could imagine that you would be saying now after you did. You couldn't and you wouldn't. truth tears away the lies when you allow it to. Say, clean out the cobwebs in this house. It will. But you have to let it. Or you'll stay in that box programmed with the idea that you know the truth. You know, I have a lot to get through today. I'm trying not to take too much time on each thing. Do you think women can judge men? Of course they can. Much better than men can judge women. How's that? Now, not saying women that can judge men judge them wisely. A lot of women like bad men. I don't know why. I know for a fact that of people I know, my parents, people around me, and all friends, people, most women that kind of seem like simple, nice people want hardcore men. Which is not a good thing, but that's what they want. So the relationships takes a rocky road from the start. Now men judge women totally different than women judge men. Obviously, you know, the image is the most important thing to a man. Because if a woman's image changes, they'll leave him. And it's that simple for a man to do it. Women will stay with heavier men for some reason. When I watch these people that have 5, 6, 7, 800 pounds, why? Sorry, I'm prejudiced. I admit it. I don't know what I would do if I woke up in bed and was 500 pounds heavier. Would I spend the next 5 years trying to get rid of that weight? I don't know if I could face myself for 5 years after that. Well, men have always created a system to protect themselves, not to protect women. Now, when I say, how do we change this? How do we cut the chains, break the chains? Women need to do it. They're the ones that are in locks and bonds. Well, the first most important thing I would suggest, you change the laws on the books. And you can do it. Women can do that. If they care enough to. Start a petition. Start getting names. Sign petitions. Get multiple petitions. Bring them to the White House. It will change. I don't know what the numbers at now anymore, how many names you have to have for them to actually bring it in front of Congress. But people can do that if people really cared. Now, when we talk about crime, rape, and abuse and things like that, women should be up in arms. I was on grand jury duty for a year, and it was horrible. But when we talk about rape, all right, it destroys a woman for life, no matter what they go through, treatments and therapy and medicine. It's for life. It doesn't disappear. A man that does it, just one more notch in his belt, has nothing to do with them being persecuted unless they go to jail. So, rob from a bank, they give you a sentence. Rob from the post office, they give you, it used to be 25 years. Rob from a poor old lady, what do you get, a week, a month? I stopped it. I don't want to go into those kind of stories, but we have to be aware of what's really happening. Last 1, 2, 3, 4 months ago, a young boy raped a girl. I guess he was 20 or 21. He stood before the judge, and the judge said, he has his whole life ahead of him. I'm giving him 6 months. Oh, wow. The woman has her whole life ahead of her, but it's nothing good. Or what's he giving her? Nothing. Men created the laws to protect them, not to protect you. When are you going to wake up and see that? That one horrible story I mentioned, which I will not. I'll tell you to pull it up online and read it. It was a movie. You want to watch the movie first to get upset and angry?